I want people to believe in something because it's a good idea that speaks to their heart. Not because somebody goes on TV and performs a miracle or is very charismatic. I believe in independent investigation of the truth, which means that because we are literate today, it's our duty to read sacred writings for ourselves and determine what speaks to our heart. How can you know what truth is until you see what else is out there? I honestly think it's a wonderful upbringing to encourage children to read and learn about a variety of different religions, because each one has their own take on reality in life. Each one has different ceremonies, and the more variety of teachings and understandings that you put into your brain, I think the more well-rounded you will be and the closer you can come to the actual truth. I was raised Bahá'í and Native American, which they're both very different yet very similar. They're both very open-minded to the teachings of other religions. One thing that I want to illustrate in this talk is that I intend on promoting spiritual tolerance, religious tolerance, through my performances. And both these religions that I was raised really hammered home this point of religious tolerance. That it doesn't matter what you believe in, it matters whether or not you believe in something to begin with, whether or not you believe in something greater than yourself. And I believe you'll be a much happier person if you believe in something, if you believe that there's a greater purpose other than just sleeping, eating, and mating. You'll be happier going to bed at night, and that's why I believe in something in the first place. People ask me to prove it, and I say, well, it's pretty hard to prove the existence of God scientifically, although they've weighed a body at the time of death and shown a decrease in weight as the soul is leaving the body. Aside from that, I would just believe for the sake of believing itself. Native American Purity Church is very ancient, very primal, or very earthy. They worship the ground that you walk on. They believe that every single animal, plant, tree has a spirit. Baha'i is very different than that, in that they believe in science and evolution. They're very modern and progressive. There's a progression of different religions that as time goes on, technology advances beyond what they can handle, and humans corrupt the religions. Humans gravitate towards the power that happens due to the religion. Whenever a prophet comes to planet Earth, there's a religious movement that unifies people and is a source of power. The purpose of the religion is to elevate the spiritual station of man to a higher level. Humanity is advancing away from an age of barbaric nature to that of a civilized society. Each religious movement is like a different grade for the child of humanity to go through. Christianity was structured for people who are illiterate. The priest would be the one to interpret the Bible for the populace. Then the printing press allowed more people to own and read Bibles, and the church splintered into factions that didn't agree on the Bible's interpretation. The truth has to be spoon-fed to us. If we were to see the light of God right now, we would be blinded. As technology's advanced, now there's a need for a new religion. I believe that the end of the world, as prophesied in Revelations, really was trying to describe the Industrial Revolution and the telecommunications revolution. There was no way for Jesus to explain to those people what the Industrial Revolution would look like. They had no foundation of technological understanding to base such an explanation. Revelations was described in terms of animals coming down, horses coming down from the sky, and these different things. Same reason why Jesus or Moses didn't explain evolution to those people way back then. It would have gone right over their heads. They had no basis of science to understand it. Some people out there dislike organized religion. because they see all the atrocities that are written about in the history books, that they're so much more blaring than the good that comes to the lives of each individual that is part of a church. Also, people see that religion has an affinity to corruption, which this degradation is part of the reason why a new prophet must eventually be sent down. I think that religion has the power to unify and transform the world, and whenever a religion happens, it's meant to be something that uplifts humanity, uplifts society. God has a covenant, a promise with man that God will never leave us in the dark to the existence of God's nature. I believe that anything is possible, that the world used to be a much more mystical, magical place, that science has been refuting all of the myths that people used to believe in. Now that we have a better scientific understanding of the world is less magical, which is why as time progresses there will be less of a need for future prophets to make miracles happen to get people to believe. People will have to rely more and more on their intellect and reasoning to discern whether or not somebody is truly a prophet. I believe that all the prophets, the one thing that they had in common with each other is from the time of small children, they had an inherent knowledge of the physical universe. Their teachers said, I cannot teach this child any longer. This child is teaching me. So with that in mind, if Jesus, Moses, Zoroaster, if all the prophets had this inherent knowledge of everything there is to know, then they could have harnessed their knowledge of physics to create such miracles, because they were in a time period when people didn't understand how things worked. Anything is possible, and the things that are still considered supernatural, paranormal, all these things can be explained by science. They are just still considered magic, supernatural, because they haven't yet to be explained by science. But anything is possible, everything is real. Everything has an explanation. The world is changing very fast, and like LeVar Burton says, don't take my word for it. I was just a guy that went on TV. Investigate for yourself, read and research. I hope I've inspired you to pick up a book.